going on? We are on the radio today. The show, the In the Lane Talk Show, hosted by me, Audley McGill, known as Gill, and of course, the main man, the rebounder, the slam dunker, Jerome Lane. What's up, Rome?
How you doing, baby?
So, we wanted to start our own talk show. Of course, a lot of you know me from Chronicles of a Rockstar sports talk show that I used to host and some other variety shows that I've done in the past. We just wanted to bring a more interactive, professional side to sports talk. We've done this for a while. Of course, you know, myself, I've done radio for a few years, and of course, we got one of the best basketball players ever come out of Akron, Jerome Lane. So I'm going to let him go ahead and say a little bit about what's going on.
Well, let me give you a little background about me. I'm a Akron St. Vincent St. Mary graduate, held the Pitt Panthers, 5 years in the NBA, and I hope we can deliver a great show for y'all so you can always come back and listen to this great show we about to give y'all and deliver y'all.
The one thing that you're going to know about Rome is he going to keep it real. Ain't no sugarcoating. He ain't going to bite his tongue. I don't care what it is. He going to say what it is. And sometimes you really got to do that in sports. So, you know, I ain't going to say, you know, Charles Barkley, but he going to keep it real. So, we got some other people in the building. Of course, our producer, our Wheels of Steel, D. Wright. What up, D. Wright?
What's going on?
All right, so we got D. Wright in the building. Hopefully he can handle the wheels over there for us. And then we got Miss Kelley.
Hey, how's it going? I'm so excited to be here today, and that's Kelley with 2 E's.
Kelley with 2 E's. All right. Okay, so we just want to go ahead and go into our topics. We're going to go into different topics that have to deal with high school, college, and pro sports, even youth sports as well. We're also going to be doing Facebook Live on our talk shows as well to kind of bring up topics so you can actually see us and interact with us. We're going to be doing phone calls too, D-Right?
Absolutely.
So we're going to also do phone calls where you can call in and talk to us about anything related to the sports topic that we'll be talking about. Also, we're going to have a YouTube channel and a Facebook where you can go and watch either or. We want this to be able to, when you riding down the street, you can listen to us. Also, if you at home and you're bored, you're on your computer, you can watch us. I know a lot of y'all got them smart TVs, so you can watch us there as well. So we're gonna go into the topic of the evening. The topic of the evening is coaching. We just wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of coaching and the stuff that you have to deal with in coaching. Of course, I've been a high school basketball coach 22 years, I think. 18 of those I've been a head coach. And of course, across from me, Jerome, he's been coaching high school a long time as well. So we kind of got an idea of how it's really supposed to go and what goes on behind the scenes. So I want to kind of throw it out to Rome to kind of talk about how hard it is to coach today's kids. Ron, can you kind of go into that a little bit?
Well, not coaching the high school kids, I want to elaborate on something. Like I was sitting in the stands at a Bookto game, and they was playing St. V. And, Bookto was really out playing St. V the whole game. You hear the fans say, "Good job, Ricky. We do a good job." And then, like, in the 2-minute, 3-minute instant, the game turned around, and the fans like, "Forget you, Ricky. You can't coach. Man, something wrong with you." And that's one thing that we really got to elaborate about, people thinking they can coach and be coaches, and let their coaches really coach the way they're supposed to coach, and the fans be fans.
I agree with that because I coach too as well. And one of the concerns is that we are the most ridiculed and disrespected, how would I say it, job in America, because I can't come to your job and question you on how you do your job, but everybody can question the coach on how he do his job. And one of the things too is the fact that I think I was sitting at the barbershop and I was talking to Clean, And I asked Clean, because, you know, a lot of people go over Clean's house and watch sports games and talk sports. And I said, Clean, who is the most talked about people in the garage? He said, me, which of course is me, Jerome, his nephew, which I ain't going to say his name, and Steve White and Ricky Powers. So, you know, that's because everybody questions what we do as coaches, but they do not understand how hard it is to coach until they really get behind the scenes and really see how it is that you have to deal with 50, 60, 70 young men, and you trying to get them to do all the same things at the same time. Might look good on paper, but it's not easy. So, you know, it's a lot of problems there, but nobody really understands what goes on behind the scenes. And of course, as coaches, we take the blame when it's wrong, because that's what we're supposed to do. But when you questioning us and your kid is on the team, how do you expect your kid to respect the coaches?
Hey, Gil, just think, only thing a fan look at is wins and losses. Man, they don't think about how to take the organized situation, prepare for situations, and get the team right, man. All a fan want to know wins and losses. And then they talk about, well, let me go out there and coach. Man, I wish they would let you, the fan that think they know everything, go out there and coach.
I feel the same way. I had somebody tell me, I think we was playing St. V, and somebody told me, Gil, you need to go to 2-3 zone. And I looked at him, I said, they just hit 13 threes. What the hell is like playing a 2-3 zone on somebody that hit 13 threes?
Want to make it easier for them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know, you just want me to let them shoot 23 threes and make 23 threes instead of, because I sit in the zone, that's what they're going to do, is shoot threes all night. So sometimes we don't really understand the auspices. Even from the playing perspective, a lot of guys who have played the game, is not the same as coaching the game.
First of all, you dummy, when you go to a 2-3 zone, you saying a team can't shoot. So why you going to tell them to go to a 2-3 anyway?
So that's the kind of stuff that I kind of deal with from the fans in the stands, because, you know, two things they rooting for. One, yeah, they want their team to win, and two, you're rooting for your child. When I'm responsible and Jerome is responsible and other high school coaches are responsible for all the kids. We can't treat one kid no different than the other kid. Yeah, your kid might be better than the other kid, but in the team perspective, it's a team game. We win as a team, we lose as a team.
That's right.
Yeah, we might have had the perfect game plan going into that game, and maybe the kids didn't follow it. That's probably why we lost. But we're not going to blame no kids. We're going to say, hey, maybe we didn't coach it right. Maybe we didn't say it right. Maybe we didn't bring them to the, maybe we should have practiced another hour. We're going to say those things. But don't think it's easy, especially when you're dealing with today's inner city kid. And each of them got to come with their own problems, circumstances, and situations.
Just think about this, Gil. They always say this is their favorite thing. You have the greatest game plan in the world till you get punched in the mouth. And that game plan go right out the door.
Sure do. And I done got punched in the mouth for many a days and ain't had no clue. Because, you know, when kids get under pressure, that's not a thing that you can teach. It's kids dealing with pressure.
Pressure kills most kids. I mean, they look, it's what we call them 4 o'clock players and that 7 o'clock player. And most of them 4 o'clock players, because when 7 o'clock hit, ain't nothing they can do.
It's a different game at 7 o'clock. We know that. So we try to teach it. And a lot of times with pressure come experience. Most of the times that teaches the kid. Now, if you got a young team and you trying to put them out there and play, they're going to have to learn how to deal with the pressure. Learn how to play in the big games. Learn how to think on the run. Those things are not something that you can learn overnight. Experience is the best teacher in sports. And then you got to understand this kid's outside world could affect his sports, because he's dealing with so many different things coming from the community he comes from. It's hard. It's hard to focus when he's stepping over situations in his community, when he's dealing with gun violence, when he's dealing with homelessness, when he's dealing with all of the different things, and then you asking him to call practice and be that superstar football, and right in the middle of the game, he feeling some kind of way because of a situation that might have happened to him the night before. You don't know that because you're just watching the game. You don't know that this kid is going through situations because you're just watching the game. And it's up to us to get these kids ready. And sometimes we're coaching multiple situations. So you got to understand, sports is a little bit more than just coaching in the inner city. Now, if I was coaching in St. V, Holborn, not to say anything negative about that, I don't have to deal with those types of problems as much because most of those kids come from 2-family homes, income is a little bit higher. There's a lot of different things going on. But when you come in with dealing with that inner city kid, when he come to you, you dealing with his problems too. So a lot of times we as people that are looking from the outside in do not understand that. It's not the same from 99 and 95 than it is 2019. You know, we dealing with a whole different type of kid now. Now, can that kid be successful? Yeah, but it's gonna take some time, and you ain't successful every week. Every Friday we ain't winning all the games. You know, you get lucky if you can go undefeated. You know, our goal is, I know the role to let young men learn how to be young men. You got something you want to say, Kelley?
I do. I want to say something because we have a student at the school who plays ball. He came from St. V, then he ended up going, and now he's at Bookdale. And he is, I mean, this boy is getting scholarships already. He's only like a sophomore. He's getting scholarships. Everybody's coming to him, but he's not showing up. He decided, so now he was like one of Power's A1 kid. And he's not showing up like he should. Why? Just what you just said. Because all the issues and all the issues that he's having at home. You understand what I'm saying? He's coming from a single family home. His parents aren't there for him, or at least that's what he's telling us. And he's just in the halls versus being in the classroom and getting his academics concerned. Academics under control. So I'm sure the listeners can totally identify with what you're saying as far as what coaches have to go through. And then my nephew, he plays for St. V. And he was telling me that their football coach is really new, he's young, and that he really don't have a clue what's going on. And that one of the games that they played with somebody, I believe it was up in Cleveland, he said they played the exact same play time after time after time. They didn't stop. They didn't change the play. They continued the exact same play because they kept winning. But the coach wasn't coaching them. The coach was just saying, do what you do. Because he didn't have a clue of how to coach.
Well, you got a great point because I know the player you're talking about. And just think about this, man. I heard he got like a scholarship, or they want him to go to LSU.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if LSU wants you, that means everybody in the country wants you. So that means I'm gonna shape up. But if your home ain't right, you don't know how to be right, you're not gonna act right.
He's in my classroom. I talk to him. I try to instill it in him, you know, how great he is. I told him, I said, look around. I said, name another kid that got another opportunity like you right now in this classroom. He couldn't do it. I said, we're not just telling you that just to tell you that. You got something great, and it's not gonna keep coming to you. But he's not listening. He got a little girlfriend. All this other stuff. He don't care about nothing. All he thinks is what he wants, and he's gonna jeopardize the team, himself, the community, everything that he could bring back to the community if he focused and do what he was supposed to do.
See, the kids don't understand the window of opportunity is so small for the inner city. They just don't know it. And when we try to tell them and try to feed them something to try to tell them what's right, it's sometimes you'd be like, how this kid gonna rebel against me? I done been through this 300 times. And you try to tell them, they just act like you know you ain't been through nothing. You don't know nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the streets have kind of almost took over when we dealing with today's kids because, you know, me and Jerome, we also work in community. So that's double. So you can't tell us we don't know what's going on out here. We from there. We've been there. We grew up in these same streets. The problem is now even the good parents, the two-home parents, the parents that are really trying to nurture their kids are also still losing their kids to these streets because it's way more of the streets that are controlling the narrative than the ones that's trying to do good. And we try to treat our kids and as best as we can, but the streets are winning. And now so we need to come up with some ideas and some things that we can not only work with these kids, just not from a sports perspective, but overall, because, you know, they don't even see the end of the road with the sports piece now, because they see more of the street narrative than they do the athlete narrative, because it's more of them than it is of us. So now we're trying to sell them on look at this. This is something you can get out of here. You can become better. But when they see so many people have not left the neighborhood, so many people have not done what they need to do, it's tough to make that sale. So now we're fighting a losing battle on top of trying to coach that kid. But what I think at the end of the day is we're pouring into these kids. We need more people to do the same.
But just think about Kelley. She talking to him. How many other people talking to this guy, man? I mean, because he got a great opportunity.
Yeah,
I mean, it might be so many people in his ear. He probably sick and tired. I know it, but it's best to be in your ear than not in your ear.
Yeah, and sometimes it ain't much as the message as it is the messenger. So hopefully the right person will talk to him and he will truly understand what's going on. But we done lost a lot of star athletes to these streets. So it's not nothing that's not normal. But what we can do as a community is try to help our kids, even if you see him out and about, talk to him, say some positive stuff to him because he got a chance. And a lot of kids don't get that chance. Especially and there's other kids that are at Bookto who have that same opportunity.
Yeah, because the other guy that's the one that Martavius, he got a great opportunity, right? He got to get going big too, right?
Yeah, he's a pretty good athlete, and he got a nice, good supporting family. But so does the other kid. I mean, I know his family, and they real supportive of him. But sometimes it's going to take more than that.
Yeah, sometimes the kid be rebelling against the parents. Sometimes
the streets is winning, and it takes like I was watching TV. I don't know what show I was watching, and they said to go to the NFL or the NBA, you got to be lucky too. It ain't just about because when the environments in the neighborhoods these kids come from, any given day.
Well, I think it's like 8 million people try for the NBA every year.
Mm-hmm. But even
though only 500-600 slots for 8 million people.
Even though, and then you even got you got just a bunch of kids that are really, really good. But because you coming from these inner cities, you don't never know what could happen to you.
And especially how they made the system to be so hard for the inner city kid. I mean, you got so many steps you got to knock down to even get to college.
Right. So we just want to make sure that instead of, downplaying the coach who is trying to take care of multiple of kids and trying to raise kids to a certain level. And I know, a lot of times, I think I read somewhere where somebody said that, Ricky cared more about raising young men than winning football games. And I had that situation happen to me too, where a parent said to me, well, all you want to do is win city championships. And I said back to that parent, what would you rather have? A full ride college basketball scholarship or a city championship? And he looked at me. He couldn't answer the question.
Oh, wow.
He couldn't answer the question because our focus is wrong. Mm-hmm. The focus is so you want to pay for your kid to go to school when they can go for free. That should be our first. And let me say this. And I got to go even further back because me and Jerome ran a Pee Wee football organization. We ran the Firestone Park Rams. So we seen a lot of parents put all of their might and effort and money into their kids, not understanding what's really the goal. Is the goal to go to the NFL or is the goal to get a free education? If they knew better, like what we know, it should be to get the free education.
Right. Use that sport to get you a free education.
The sport can get you a free education. That's the investment. Now, if they get to college and they become successful or they make it to the pros, hey, that's an extra.
That's a bonus, right? That's a bonus.
But our goal should be that. And now I got parents that will invest major dollars into their kids to be that player, but not thinking that really the best bet is a free education. So we need to also promote that, but it's hard to do when the focus is on wins and losses. So that's the thing that we just got to promote as coaches. Hopefully people that are listening to this show will truly understand. Listen, I've been a head coach for 18 years. I done put a lot of kids in college, but I done dealt with a lot of nonsense and madness because I lost a game too, or I didn't play your kid, or I had to punish your kid because they was wrong and we lost the game because I punished your kid. There's so many different things that a coach has got to do. I done went and got a kid off the street that was sleeping in cars that I had to go and get and find him a place to live. You don't know what a coach deals with on a regular basis. Mama and her kids sleeping in the house, gas off, electric off, water off. And the coach is sitting there. The parent, the only person the parent know that she can go to is the coach. So we got to find ways to help this young man who really is trying to be a good kid instead of hitting the streets. Now I got to call around to get this woman help so she can get her gas, light, and water turned on. These are the things that coaches deal with that most fans don't even see. But we don't ask for no extra. They don't pay us extra to do that. We just do it because we're trying to help these kids. So when you start talking about coaching, you got to see the whole thing. Because coaching 50, 60 inner city kids is not easy at all. And, you know, it's not easy. Because I was talking to, what's his name, from the Plain Dealer. How, you know, Tim Rogers.
Tim.
Yeah. Tim said he been writing for the Plain Dealer for 30.
Since I've been playing.
Since 30-something years. And he said,
Tim Rogers.
Do you know how hard it is to win a state championship? Some of the best coaches in the state of Ohio will never win a state championship, especially the coaches in the inner city, because they have to deal with so much stuff other than the sport itself.
Wow.
You know, we coaching, you know, we don't coach at St. V. We don't coach at Hopin. We don't coach at, I'm keeping it real. I don't coach at Talmadge. You know, I don't deal with that.
But then one thing I want to chime in about, one thing I give credit about Ricky Parsons, y'all don't give it to. I like his no tolerance rules with his football players. If you don't go to school, if you act up on the field, he don't put up with it, he get rid of you. But he's something special, and the guy that Kelley is talking about, because I didn't see him, he didn't suspended him, he didn't did everything, but he still let him come back because I could see that he sees something special in his kid, man. Yes. So I could see he didn't give up on his kid.
No, he's not going to. And Powers, the thing of it is, we try to explain. We try to explain to the kids on a basis is that we don't have to be here. We choose this. We choose this. This is not a girl today asked me. A student today asked me. He said, do you want to do this? Do you want to do this, Miss Williams? Absolutely. I told her it's a choice. And the same thing with Powers. It's a choice. It's a choice to be a coach. You don't have to do. You do this because it's your passion. You do this because you want to see a child. You want to see a child develop into greatness. Rather, if it's getting a full scholarship or the position that they're playing, you want to see the progress in them. I mean, you don't have to do this. And parents need to understand that. What if they had a big turnover? What if Powers hadn't been there? He's been there for how long?
He's been there about 2007, something like that.
Okay, so that means that he's put a lot of effort and dedication into these kids. And so these parents, I understand, they get into the hype of it, the heat of it or whatever, but at the same time, they need to check themselves and understand that Powers don't have to be there, and you don't have to be there. But you choose it because that's your passion. That's something you want to do.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's not easy being a coach. And then you trying to teach kids certain things that they never taught, because again, I got to go back, and this is just on the basketball side more so than the football. Our youth basketball programs, we ain't teaching the kids how to play basketball. So by the time they get to us in high school, we got to reteach them. So that happens a lot in sports. And then you asking us to go out and win games fundamentally. Some team that's been teaching their kids how to play the game fundamentally since the fourth grade.
Playing together since fourth grade.
Playing together since the fourth grade.
They've been playing all the way up.
And you asking us to go out there and, we athletic. Athletics don't have nothing to do when it's fun, when you fundamentally
sound. You got camaraderie and y'all been together for some of you. I know you. I know what you can do. I know what you can do.
Yeah, and so that's a lot of stuff that we have to deal with as far as coaches. But again, that also has a lot to do with how things go on in the schools. And I know that the situation with a principal at the school dealing with the kid, which me personally I can't speak on, but because I'm I'm personally friends with the person, so. But, dealing with today's kids, in school, bottom line, it's just not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy at all. So, just imagine coaching football or basketball, and these same type of incidences happen all the time. We deal with irate kids and parents all the time.
And like with the situation you're talking about, we're talking about Finney, right? So I don't know if I was supposed to. I mean, we can always cut it out, right? So I'm just asking. He's going to edit it. Anyway, and the principal at Elliott, and I know that he had gotten into a confrontation with a student, and he ended up punching the student, right? So East. Oh, it's East, not Elliott. East. Okay, I'm sorry. And he ended up punching the student, and so now his whole life is in jeopardy. Now his whole career can be, totally taken away because of his dispute with a student, a minor, a child. And what is going on? And okay, so I'm trying to get this on. So anyway. So that's where we're at right now today. We're talking about we're going to go to the next subject, which is about a principal at a East High School who actually physically hit or slapped a student in the face. And let me explain something to you. It's not easy dealing with our students. Our kids now are not the same breed of when we were in school. These kids now, I'm in the classroom, and every period we are to stand out in front of our door to hear the kids from transition from one period to the next. And these kids are roughhousing, they're cursing, they're being very physical and aggressive towards each other. It's not easy, and if you correct them or try to talk to them, they will cuss you out. I mean, this time last year, I got sucker punched by a student. So, I mean, this is, and let me tell you something, it was no way, I did not provoke the situation in no shape, form, or fashion. So, we are dealing with a different breed of kids. But you still have to have restraint. We still have to understand how to deal with a situation under fire like that. Anybody have a perspective about it?
Well, I'm just saying, think about this, man. Okay, at our age, we never would have even thought about even talking back to a teacher, being physical, or nothing back in our day. I mean, these kids today, man, is just admitted straight out of control. And with Mr. Finney, I mean, the kid, you're not supposed to let a kid push you to that point, but he pushed him to the boiling point where he had to hit the kid. He just couldn't take it no more. I mean, he was just up. He probably was about to faint, man.
Yeah. and he but it's funny though. What about paddles? Like, we used to, let me tell you, that was some of our constraint. That was some of our control. Because you can sit there in classroom and you can hear that paddle, you can hear it in the wind. And then by the time it hit contact, everybody in the seat sitting right with the hands crossed and everything because they don't want to be next. I remember. Yeah. And you hear that kid walking down the hall holding his behind, but you know what? They had less issues, less behaviors. They didn't have to develop classrooms just for these severe behavior kids. Now they call it, well, at one time they were calling it severe behavior handicap. Now it's called the Now unit, but we getting all these different names and levels for these kids with these major behaviors. Come on now, bring the paddle back. I personally don't mind. I mean, I'm not going to be the one to do it, but I believe that we need to adjust it. Okay, it might not need to be like how it was back then.
Because the kids ain't scared of you.
The kids aren't scared,
they
but
no scared
they're not scared because it wasn't breeded into them as a child by their own people. You have to put that in that child so they can understand what respect is. They don't understand it because they never was taught that. But the moment that they start teaching these kids what respect is, it's going to be the class of students will change. But until then, and like I said, we can bring back paddling. But maybe we can have it where the parent come in and do it at the school. Maybe something, I don't know, I'm just saying it's good to talk about it. That's good dialogue to have to see how can we get control of our buildings again, because they are totally out of control from the small all the way to high school.
Because I ain't talking about viral, ain't that how my boy Matthew lost his job too, right? At Bookto, right?
Yeah, there was some allegations of some things that happened.
That the kid provoked him. You know what I'm saying? These kids get, they can say some things that really get up under a person's skin, man.
I've sat right there in the classroom and it goes down. You talking about the 20? What is that? What they say when they do the dozen? the dozen gets done on the teachers, and they will pick you from top to bottom, talk about your woman, your wife, your husband, your kid, your toes, everything. They go in, and then you're supposed to stand there as nothing is going on and continue trying to teach this class, and the whole class is in an uproar laughing because he said something about your wife, or he said something about your girlfriend, or whatever the situation is. It gets ugly.
Just think about it. We never thought about saying nothing like that to a teacher.
Never.
Crack on a teacher, man, that's like unheard of.
Never.
Yeah, but the times has definitely changed. We're in a new era of dealing with today's kids, and it's almost, I mean, it's just a cycle that's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So how do you break the cycle? That's the first thing. Somebody need to come up with a plan for that, because it starts way before they even get to the high school. It starts when they're young. And we need to figure out something to kind of deal with these kids.
Hold on, Gil, but before we even get done, I think we all had the same mutual respect, that we wish Mr. Finney the best of luck.
Absolutely.
We don't, I hate that if he loses his job, it would hurt me, because he's a good friend of mine, and we all feel the same way. But, I just hope that we can get some type of support or whatever we need to do for Finney.
Absolutely.
So he can be, still a principal, or if he have to leave, be successful at another school being a principal. So
he has that petition out there,
so
too.
just think, Mr. Finney, we fighting for you, man.
Absolutely.
We like you, man. Matter of fact, we love you, bro.
And I signed your petition.
Yep. So with that being said, we just definitely got, like I said, it's something that people ain't really looked at in regards to the kid. Like you said, what do we do about the kid? Because the kids, this is happening all over the country. This ain't no isolated incident. You can look up hundreds of thousands of incidents where, and even on videos where you've watched kids and teachers where there is some physical contact between the two because of whatever reason, restraining of kids, and today's kids are really, to me, the problem. So my issue and concern is, how do we fix these young people? Because again, this comes in play with coaches. You think that kid doing it in the classroom, he'll do it on the football field, he'll do it on the basketball court, he'll do it at practice.
But just think about this, Gil, also. That's one incident. How many good incidents he had? Probably about 1,000. But they ain't talking about that.
No, and they never, in this world, it's always about the negative.
Absolutely.
People don't want to see positive. They don't want to see that good kid that might have struggled, that you gave that motivational speech to, that end up going out being a human being and being a community person. That don't sell no papers. That don't hype nobody up. Everybody want to see negativity, and with social media, it's just took it to a whole nother level. So my thing is, as a people, how do we figure out how to stop it? Now, one of the things that has helped, again, still to this day, is the sports piece. A lot of times kids are getting that extra discipline. They dealing with community folks who ain't tolerating that a lot of times. So we don't have to go by the rules and regulations of the teachers or Akron Public Schools. So, we might be able to say a few things to them where they can understand it. But that's a whole nother level. But again, that comes back to, taking a group of young men. And usually those group of young men that are athletes, they usually know how to act at school regardless, because they want to play the sport. So you got some, but then you got some that just, they ain't involved in no extracurricular activities. They're not involved in anything, and they is what they is. And I'm just happy for this one. A lot of times, these dudes don't even have to be at school. For real, in this era, they don't got to go to school. Parents ain't making them go to school. We lucky for them to walk through the door. So if we can get kids that don't want to listen, that have behavior issues, to walk through the doors of a school when they don't have to, I'm telling you, go to the average home. These boys ain't got to go.
I know the dropout rate just like it's in the 60s, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. We just had a debate about that at school, talking about that. Like, man, this is like the 60s.
Yeah, it's like the 60s. So, but if a kid walked through that doors and he wants to be there because he ain't made to be there. He don't have to be there. She don't have to be there. Usually by the time they get to the 9th grade, it's really on them,
Now,
whether they want to go to school or not.
It's very interesting with these kids nowadays because these kids, when kids would flick, now mind you, I never flick because my father wouldn't allow that in no shape, form, or fashion. But when kids would flick when I was coming up, they didn't come to school. They didn't come to school. They just would take the day off. And these kids they come to school and they stay in the bathroom.
Well, I can tell you this, man. In our era, if you flick school, who was flicking with you, man? Everybody else was in school.
In school, right?
I didn't know nobody. If I say if you got sick and was at home, nobody else was at home.
No, that's right. You wanted to be at
All your
school.
friends was at school.
And so that's where you went. But nowadays they got a whole different. It's a whole different. It's more kids in the halls than it is in the classroom, and that's a problem. We have to address this.
Well, when you go home, and you see that school didn't help a lot of our people, the people that did go to school, they don't have no jobs, they on the street. School don't become the importance no more because that's what they see.
Right.
They see a bunch of people that, okay, yeah, I graduated from East, I graduated from North, I graduated from Kenmore, but I ain't got no job. I'm unemployed. I'm living off the assistance. I might be on some drugs and alcohol, so they don't see what school is done.
Right. And
we don't have enough people to role model that piece.
What they say, the most successful kid is the coachable kid.
The coach.
Yep.
If you're not coachable, then you want to be in jail, on drugs, messed up. That's crazy, man.
Because you do not have to be a product of which you were born into. Mm-hmm. Like you do, these kids, they need to hear that by these parents. You do not have to be a product of which you were born into. You don't have to do or repeat whatever happened in your life if you want to make a change, but you got to want to do it yourself.
Well, that's why I said, when we were young, coming from single parent home, parents would put us in sports because that's where the role models were at. Mm-hmm. That's where the fathers were at. That's where the adult men were at. And we just continued that suit and followed that all the way through. Now, I'm starting to see that again. Now, I was down, my grandsons played Pee Wee football for South. I seen more dads down at that football field than I've ever seen before. Now, like I said, me and Rome ran Firestone Park. It was all mothers. Now, when I'm at South, I seen more dads involved than ever before. And we need that to help our young men grow up and be positive because they need to learn how to be men from their dads and how to deal with the streets on a regular basis because that's one of the things that the school could never teach you. The school can teach you how to deal with when you walk out that door. Right. They can teach you how to read, write, math, fix a car, draw. But as soon as you step out there on that avenue and now you got to go back home, there is no school in America that can teach you how to deal with that. Well, when you got parents and family and community and coaches, those are the extra people that can help because school is not going to help. So
that's right. Your good common sense go a long way.
Yes. So I know we kind of ventured off the topic a little bit of sports, but that's a part of the sports too. So coaches,
we needed to talk about.
Yeah, coaches also deal with the day-to-day. Trust me, you'll be amazed of how many kids get in trouble at school, and the first person the principal and the teacher coming to get is the coach.
Absolutely, every time. Every time.
The coach.
We all do. I get him. I call him. Hey, Powers, such acting up, and he come in there and straighten them out.
Yeah, because they get that. We get that kind of respect as coaches because we deal with them more than the teachers. I tell my kids this. I said 30 years from now, you ain't gonna remember who your math teacher was, your social studies teacher, your principal, but you're gonna remember that high school coach.
Absolutely.
And now we 30-something years later, I don't remember my 10th grade.
I don't know my English teacher, my math teacher. I can tell you that right now.
But I do remember my coaches, and I'll never forget them because they instilled more than the academic piece. They instilled discipline and showed me that I was worth something and put a lot more into me than I ever had before from just walking around here because and that's what's missing with our kids. So instead of being negative, we need to be encouraging. So just want to say thanks. Kelley with 2 E's.
Thank you. This is a great icebreaker. I love it. Thank you.
For being on the show today. Again, this is In the Lane Sports Talk Show with myself, Gil, and of course, Mr. Jerome Lane. And what we're going to do is we're going to have some guests, some different guests. It won't be just high school. We're going to have some college and some pro guys on as well. We're going to take callers. We're going to mix it up a little bit. It's going to be a lot different than your normal typical talk show. We might even bring a talk show host on or two that do sports. I know a few of them myself personally. Of course, Rome have been interviewed by several. So
also, Gil, you got to think about it. If we have the callers, if you want a topic you want us to talk about, call in early, and we might fit that in.
Yes, we can fit that in. We're going to have an email and website. We're going to introduce that on future shows. And also, we're going to be doing commercials too. So if you want to get on the sponsorship tip and do some commercials on the behalf, this is not a local show. Let me say that again. This will be a national syndicated show. Our show will be nationwide. We dealing with an NBA star on our show. So we will be taking callers from all over the country. We will be talking NBA. We will be interviewing NBA players. We will be interviewing NFL players, college players. We got a few coaches we can interview. So we're going to bring on a bunch of different folks for you to listen to.
And the player of the week of high school.
Yeah, we always going to look out for our Akron City Series player of the week. And that way you'll know who the high school kids is. We want to promote them, but we also going to promote our college and our pro sports teams and athletes as well. So, signing off today. This is the In the Lane Sports Talk Show with me, Audley McGill, and of course, Jerome Lane, and we hope to see you soon. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't forget our guest today. Miss Kelley, you got some last words?
Hey, I'm just so excited, man. This is a new adventure for me. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be here. This is a great icebreaker. I'm ready to rock and roll. Can't wait till next week.
Yeah, so, and we also got some other shows. D-Ray, what other shows we got going on? Give me I'm going to let the producer get on here.
All right. Thank you. We'll be having a couple of civic shows. We got a special guest that's going to just kind of do his thing here on the wild side of things. We're going to be doing a music piece where we're showcasing upcoming talent, entertainment, things of that nature, and also we'll be having some smooth selections available for you coming soon here on this internet radio-based podcast here. Go ahead, D-Ray.
DJ D-Right.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah, and like I said, he's going to make this into a radio network. Am I right, D-Right? Can you give us a little bit more on that too as well? Because I think they need to know that too.
Yeah, the name of the entity is Upscale Media Group. We'll be having a YouTube channel, which is going to be coming up probably the next couple of days here. Website, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. You can log on, get access to present and past shows. We'll have sponsorship opportunities. We'd love to be able to say we're doing this for absolutely free, but it costs to run the equipment. We got to pay people to get in here and help us out here. So keep that in mind. You can reach out to us. We'll have some numbers here. But in the meantime, you know someone, just reach out to us and we can get in touch with you with the information you need.
Thanks, D-Right.
Yes,
and like I said before, with our sports talk show, we're going to do some variety of things. Matter of fact, I meet with the Cleveland Cavs on Thursday, and I'm going to talk to them about the sports talk show because we're going to try to do some stuff up there in Cleveland, live from the arena. They changed the name of the arena, huh?
Yeah,
what is it called? Rocket Mortgage now?
Yeah, and they got all the legends painted on the inside.
Yeah, it's a whole new look because they remodeled it up there. So if you haven't been up there yet to a game or something, you need to get up there. Of course, I know there's a few more Browns games still left, home games coming up, and there's some basketball going on. There's some reasonable tickets we can get into. Okay, so if you are interested in being involved with the Upscale Media Group, the UMG, please call 330-294-1004. Again, that is the Upscale Media Group, UMG. The number is 330-294-1004. So I'd like to thank everybody for listening, and have a blessed day, and we will talk to you next week.